This is week 9, day 2. Please take out a writing tool, scratch paper, and type right in the Zoom chat. You can check your email or Google Classroom for today's materials. Today's objectives include the following. Content. I can use graphs to find proportional relationships. So we're returning to graphs again, round 2, and trying to see how well we do on our Jamboards in our teams. Language objective. I can explain how we know verbally. So after you and your team are done with a problem, make sure everyone understands and ask the question, how do we know, before calling an adult over. Lastly, our social objectives, I can collaborate with my team to reach our maximum potential. So let's see how far your team can get. Will you reach complete level 1, level 2, level 3, or all 4 levels verbally? Agenda, after school tutoring, written exit ticket analysis, teacher recommendations, proportional graphs, round 2, team roles, and getting better at participation. As always, you can sign up for after school tutoring Monday through Thursdays from 4 to 5. The deadline to sign up is 3:30. Please make sure you fill out the Google form first, and it's a first come, first served basis. You can earn extra credit. As always, everything is on the spreadsheet in the orange highlight. So I had a chance to take a look at your written exit ticket, and here's what I noticed. Level 1, for those who turned it in, everyone understands what a proportional graph looks like, so there were no issues there. However, in level 2, students had issues with writing the equations. They would often include the correct k value but wouldn't write it in equation form, so they'll write it as 35x, but not y equals 35x. Make sure you write an equation because equation means it has an equal sign, y equals 35x. Also, some students simply didn't write the correct equation, and that's because of their tables. Speaking of tables, for level 3, students had issues with writing equivalent ratios. So here's an example where a student labeled their lattice points incorrectly. They wrote down the points as 0, 0, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 6. We know this is labeled incorrectly because when you write y over x, the ratio, 4 over 1 does not equal to 2 over 1. And 2 over 1 does equal to 4 over 2. So you can't have two different ratios. They have to be equivalent for it to be true. We also know this is incorrect because the rule is multiply by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, 0 times 2 is 0, but 1 times 2 does not equal 4. So we know there's a mistake right there. Also, some students were having trouble writing two equivalent ratios. They would have these as lattice points 0, 0, and 1, 35, and they write 35 over 1 equals to 0 over 0. You cannot divide by 0. If you ever try that on a calculator, you'll see that it says error or undefined. We cannot divide by 0. So if you need more points, what you can do is extend your table. And you know the rule is times 35. So if it's times 35, you can do 2 times 35, that's 70. 3 times 35 is 105. Or 4 times 35 is 140. And you can keep extending it onward and onward until you get other equivalent ratios. So instead of writing 0 over 0 equals to 35 over 1, you can write 35 over 1 equals to 70 over 2, because both of these fractions are equivalent to each other. Lastly, level 4, most students got it correct since it's straightforward. For the equation y equals x, what students basically did is multiply k and x to get y. As always, please make sure you complete your written exit ticket on time, because you do get a grade for it and you do lose points for not turning it on time. You also don't get any points if you do not turn it in at all. So please make sure you turn it in, because this is valuable information for me as I design instruction for the following class. Here are some recommendations based on what I saw in terms of the written exit tickets. 1, if your team cannot find the equation in level 2, make a table and find the pattern. I cannot emphasize enough, when you make a table, you can easily find everything else. So you make a table, you find the pattern, then you can find the equation. So make a table first if you're stuck on level 2. For level 3, check that each ratio is equivalent when dividing y over x. So make sure that each of the ratios are the same. If they're not the same, that means the graph is not proportional. Before we get into proportional graphs round 2 on the Jamboards, recognize that grades are earned in the following way. If your team completes level 1, it's a D. If they complete level 2 verbally, What is the equation of each proportional graph? It's a C. If you reach to level 3 verbally, you'll get a B. And if you can answer all 3 levels plus level 4, when x equals 50, what does y equal? Your team will get an A. As always, students will be picked on randomly, and it's very important that before you call an adult over, you ask each other the question, how do we know? Once your team is able to answer that question, then call an adult over. And as a reminder, these are your team roles: resource manager, task manager, facilitator, and recorder reporter. Decide on the role that best fits you. And in order to get better at participation, please make sure you use different colors, because everyone writing in black does not tell me who understands and who does not understand, and who participates and who is not participating. Green, write in green; blue, write in blue; yellow, write in orange; and pink, write in red. Also, please make sure you have a positive working environment where there are little to no distractions. And if you have trouble hearing or speaking, please make sure you have a headset or earphones so that you can understand what your peers are saying and that you can also communicate to them. That is all. Good luck and take care.